No, no, no. Your volume is all okay. I just muted myself. Hello, what's up? Are you doing okay? I'm doing fantastic. I like that fantastic. All right. This video is to let you know how do I read more books. This is a question that most frequently asked question. People ask me, do you really read the books or you just buy them and review it? Or you just read it for the sake of reviewing it? And that question really hurts me because I spend a lot of time reading books, and when you people ask me, are you really reading the book? That's really bad. Okay, right. So let me share a few of the tips which I follow to read more books, and this video is for that. How to read more books. Okay, first thing, I'm going to share 3 tips. So the tip number 1 is to understand why do you really have to read the book. So if you see, most of the books that I read is based upon self-help books. I review the books most of them are self-help books, right? Why do I read self-help book? Is I like that field. I like that portion of self-help or self-development or personality development. I like that portion. I enjoy reading that book. So for you, I want you to ask yourself, what is my passion? What do I really want? Let's say if you're a medical student, you can't read a book about automobile engineering, or if you're a physics student, you may not enjoy the books that talks in detail about attitude or behavior, because your area of interest is biology or physics. So the first thing that I want you to do is take a paper and write down, what do you want out of life? Once you figure that out, you can segregate into a particular industry, particular field, and then go Google it, and then see what are the books, what are the major books, major works that were done on that particular field. So that's the first thing. Find out why do you really have to read the book. Okay. Once you find out what kind of books or what do you really want to read, the next thing is setting up goals. So it's not that you have to set goals only for your life or in your work. It's really important for you to set goals when you read books. Yes. So for me, the goal is for me at least to read 2 hours a day. The moment when I wake up, I start my day with a little meditation and then jump right onto books. On the same thing, when I end my day, when I finish the day, I read 1 more hour. That's all. Nothing much. 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the night. That's my goal. My goal is to read 1 hour in the morning, read 1 hour in the night. So I want you to take some time and set a goal. It could be a book. Say few people will have a goal that they have to read, they have to complete the book in 1 week. They have to complete the book in 2 weeks. So you can also try that. But setting up goals is really important. So say you can set up in a way that I will read 40 to 50 pages every day. So that depends upon the books that you read. Some books will have more pages and few will not have. That's depend upon the books, but setting up time is my way. Like 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the night. As I told you, you have another option to choose weeks. Like if it's a big book, take 3 weeks. So the main thing that I wanted to share is set up goals. Set up goals for how much time you're going to take and what you're going to do in the time. So that's the second thing that you need to do. Third is make copies or make notes when you read books, right? So when you read book, what happens is you tend to forget, even when school or when you go to college or whatever happens is, when you take notes, what happens is I'll usually scribble on the books. Few people will not do that because they consider books as so noble or very noble. They don't want to do that. You can either take a separate paper and write down whatever things you learned from that chapter or from that page. Play with that book. It's your book. That's why I ask people, buy the books. Do not lend the books. Do not borrow the books. Buy the books from Amazon. Go to a local store and buy the book. Write down and try it out with multiple things. That's when you enjoy the book, right? Because if you just keep reading it, it won't be that fun. It won't be that interesting. So next thing, to keep the process going, if you want to continue the journey without any problem though, so you have to take notes and interact. And one more important thing that I usually do is I research about the book that I usually read. Say for example, the book that I recently read is The New Earth. The New Earth, written by Eckhart Tolle. So it's a spiritual book. It's a spiritual book, and I have never read a spiritual book, to be honest. I've read a lot of self-help books. So when I started this book, I was really struggling to understand what the author is trying to say, because it's a new concept for me. I don't understand what the author is telling. So what I do is I first read about the author. Who is this guy? Because I like to research about the authors. Because when you read the book, it's like you're really talking to someone in person. I feel that way. When you talk to someone, you may want to know more about them, right? So I feel the same. When I purchase the book, I go ahead and Google it and see what the author is doing, and YouTube videos, of course. So this guy, this author Eckhart Tolle, he has a YouTube channel. He has a lot of. He's also a public speaker. So that's an interesting thing, because I like speakers. Now, I automatically developed an interest towards this author. So I would like to know more about what the author is trying to say. These are some of the tips that can help you to read more books. So I'm not just reviewing the books. I am really reading the books. Please believe me. Okay, so the tips that I shared is: 1, why do you want to read and what kind of books do you want to read? 2nd is setting up goals. And 3rd, which I shared, is taking notes. So these are the 3 things that can help you to read more books. Okay, and I don't suggest acquiring knowledge is only through books. Excuse me, sorry about that. So not everyone likes to read. Yeah, most of the people, when you go and ask them, do you read books, they would say no, but still they would perform very well, or they would be in a good position. Not everyone reads books, but there is a quote that says readers are leaders and leaders are readers. I don't know how true is that. I've seen people who are really performing well, who is really doing good in their job or in their professional personal life. They don't read books because they acquire knowledge in a different way. You see, learning has different ways, right? There are the way which when you read, what happens is you're reading and you're acquiring the knowledge. Few people will have options to, few people will like to listen and do it. Few people would do audiobooks when they're traveling, because they may have a lot of time traveling. They go with audiobooks, and they also learn or grasp knowledge by just listening. In Tamil, we call it Kelvinyanam, right? So this happens if your brain is activated for this particular level of listening and learning, right? That's the second type of learning. There are multiple other things. Few people would watch and learn, like videos. When you go to YouTube and see something, you will understand easily than reading or than listening. So that's another thing. Few people would like to experiment and read. Say, for example, they want to put their hands on it and then experiment it and then learn, oh yeah, this is really interesting. That's how you learn, by experimenting, like how do they do in Polytechnic or ITI. So you have to understand what type of a person you are, that anybody can't help you. Only you have to sit down and see. You have to experiment all this. Maybe you can try reading a book and then try to watch a video and then try to listen and experiment things out and see which works for you. Once you figure out what works for you, then nobody can stop you. So reading books is not just, acquiring knowledge is not just by reading books. There are multiple ways. But keep one thing for sure. When you go to bed, just make sure that you learned at least one thing before you go to bed. Just sit down 5-10 minutes and recall your whole day and see if you did something good or something that you learned today. Check this out. If not, don't go to sleep. Okay? All right. So I think this video also went a little longer, 9 minutes video. Thank you so much for watching again. If you're watching this, you are super awesome. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.